Hello and welcome to a rather special episode of Fully Charged. Now, normally when I sit in a newly released electric vehicle, I'm sitting in the front with the steering wheel in front of me, driving, but this is a slightly different vehicle. This is the Nissan ENV200 Evalia, which is a 7-seat kind of minivan. And today I've got a very, very professional driver at the steering wheel, and next to her, an extraordinarily, we're talking high-level professional transportation executive. I think that's probably the best description. And we're driving around the outskirts of Paris, and it's a particularly hot day today in Paris. It's very, very hot, and my driver keeps finding the biggest potholes on the French road system, so that every camera has a good old jiggle. But now, here's the important thing. This has just been launched. In fact, it hasn't even come to the UK yet. This is just being launched. So a lot of taxi firms obviously very interested in this vehicle because it seats 7 people. Hotels that shuttle people between airports and hotels and things like that, very popular for that. But also, I think a lot of families will have a look at this and go, actually, we've got a lot of kids and kit and stuff that we need to move about. This could be rather good. So what is underneath this car is essentially a Nissan Leaf. It's exactly the same. It's a 24 kilowatt-hour battery. It's the same motor. It's the same drive system. It would probably be a little bit slower because it's a bigger vehicle. And if it was full of people and stuff, then I'm sure it would have a reduced range. But initially, the driving feel of it is very, very similar to driving a Leaf. It's quite nippy. It's got a good torque in the lower end. That's what you want, a bit of lower end torque. It's got very good visibility, very clear all-round vision, nice big mirrors, all that stuff. So all that stuff is really good. But we did learn some interesting facts about Nissan. So they've sold over 180,000 electric cars globally. They've sold in the UK over 5,500 of them, and you do start to see a lot more Leafs knocking about. A lot of taxi firms using Nissan Leafs now and finding phenomenal cost savings, not only with fuel, which is very obvious, but also with servicing. When you're driving a taxi, as hard as you drive, most of us drive cars, maybe an hour a day. Well, a taxi's working 10 hours a day, so, it's doing a lot more work, sometimes even more than that, depending on how the shifts work. And so they need a lot of servicing, and that costs a lot of money, and they've discovered through experience that the electric cars require much less. I kind of knew that, but I hadn't actually thought about it in those terms. But one of the key driving forces that Nissan feel is pushing more and more people towards electric vehicles is not to be green and eco and all the things that the Clarksons of this world would discuss and say, oh, you think you're being green in your coal-powered car, all that stuff. No, it's nothing to do with that. It's to do with local area pollution, with the city pollution on the streets in cities, and people breathing in toxic particulates. And there was a very good example of this last year. There were 3 days in Paris where the traffic pollution was so bad that the government said that the school children weren't allowed out to play games outside. They couldn't play sports or go out in their breaks because the chances of them breathing in this toxic fumes were just too polluted. And that message has got through to a lot of people, and they're starting to think, hang on, there's got to be another way of doing this. We can't constantly sit in traffic jams in diesel cars pumping out diesel fumes. So they're very optimistic about it. The initial forecasts that people made for electric vehicle sales were way over the top. They're nothing like as massive as President Obama predicted, or even Carlos Ghosn of Nissan suggested they'd be selling a lot more. But what is clearly apparent is the sales are increasing. They're more than doubling every year. One of the other things which is always very reassuring, is that there is a new rapid charger installed somewhere in Europe every day, one a day. So I've worked it out how many that is a year. It's 365 a year. I'm that good at maths.
So the Nissan ENV200 MPV is, despite the potholes, comfortable, easy to drive and very spacious. It's very easy to see why Nissan have launched it. The demand for electric taxis and shuttle buses is growing very rapidly, and this is indeed the world's first all-electric purpose-built 7-seat MPV. It comes in a range of 5 and 7-seat configurations, and if you fold away the seats, which is very easy, there's loads of room for stuff in the back. The starting price is around £20,000 depending on how posh you want it. Yes, the Nissan ENV200 MPV is very nice.